Hey, it's the Foster's After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're breaking down Season 5, Episode 7, called Chasing Waterfalls, aka Do Not Mess with Olivia Newland. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies, hello.
Hey.
What an episode.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. Our new hero, Olivia Newland.
Yep.
Jeez.
Wow, that was...
Oh my God. We're talking about the text message that ended off the episode. God, that killed me. The hi, hey. Oh, you better kill it. Okay, let's do some intros and then we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
I'm Jeffrey Masters. I tweet from Jeff Masters1.
I'm Hannah Prichard. I tweet from @TheHotShotDude. I'm Jillian Leff. I tweet from @Jillian Leff.
And I'm Stephanie Giorgi. I tweet from @StephanieGiorgi.
Fantastic. So we're talking about the text message. Should we read it?
Yes. Yeah, so it was probably an Instagram DM.
Direct message?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's why I don't have alerts on my phone. I
Really?
don't
But
see
you
that
can't
stuff.
you can't technically do that unless you both follow each other.
Yeah, so obviously, she's doing the girl thing, which all girls do. It's like, oh, we
True.
gotta keep them close.
Let me read it.
Okay, Steph, what did the text say?
It says, but high key, I know what you're doing, bitch. So stay the hell away from my man or I will beat you down. Thought, what? Girl, you lucky I wasn't there because I would have had Sierra's back with the quickness.
Oh, it's high key. I thought she was
High
saying
key.
hi, hey.
I know you did.
Okay, hi, hey.
No, Olivia
no.
tried to get hood real quick.
Just now when you said it, that's why all of us were like, yes, intros.
Oh.
So that, obviously shook us to the core. While we were watching the episode, we actually had to stop, rewind it, re-put it on our Instagram.
It's so good.
So I tweeted at the creators, and Peter responded, and he said, I asked who wrote the tweet, and he said, or the DM, and he said it was truly a group effort. Some of the writers called their crazy girlfriends and were like, how would you handle this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Wow.
But low key,
But what'd you respond?
And that is what's happening in the writer's room, and now we know. And now we know.
I kind of love that. I mean,
Jill, tell them what you responded with.
I got a little sassy with you, Peter. Hope you reply to me. He called women crazy, and I said, ooh, dangerous game when you call women crazy, because it is true.
It's
Then they
true.
become crazy.
I never met one that wasn't.
Well,
I've only met these three, though.
I believe that it's just we're a little more expressive than others.
I just hate the word crazy. I like that. I hate the word bitch, and I hate the word crazy. And this was used in the last conversation, so.
I'm just a lover of words. I love all of them. I think this is such a fun way to bring the storyline, though, that Mariana's now teamed up with Logan. Because I love actually seeing that character so much. And it's a great excuse to get him back on the show.
He's so
True.
damn cute.
This also brought me back to high school. I would have been because it's Instagram now. If it was in our day, we would have got a MySpace message real quick.
For real. And I love that she sent a nice one first and then did that because
Yes.
when the nice one came through, we were all like, but we know what she's doing. And then that
Right.
second came through, we were like, yes, girl.
Oh, see, I was
Sorry,
thinking
Sierra.
more like on my Gateway's computer, waiting for the dial-up to happen,
Yeah.
get on AIM, see a passive-aggressive away message, be like, is that directed towards me? Like, hey, girl, how
Yes.
are you? And then she's like, listen,
Right?
this is how it's going to be.
Huh.
I just dated myself a little bit, but whatever, that's how it was. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have
No,
Twitter.
we didn't. It was just MySpace.
Yeah.
Not
That was
even.
it.
It was Friendster. I'm old.
God, the 80s.
Like,
She's my age. We
High
had
school in the
MySpace.
80s. It was so hard.
No, so we were born.
Oh my God. I'm excited for the impending Olivia.
I wanna see
I don't know
who
if we'll
she
see prom
is.
Yeah,
this,
I wanna see who she
this
is,
half the
too.
season. We only have 2 episodes left. But oh my God. I just imagine Olivia on Instagram being like, oh, who is Mariana? And she goes to her Instagram and is like, darn, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Look at that body. She
and
can sing.
smart and funny.
And she does derby and she likes science. What can't she do?
That's when I would have broken up with myself by then. I would have been like, hey, man, I accept defeat. Take her, have her.
Yeah, right. She
Whatever.
she looked at it and said, oh, hell no. And then got in there and was like,
Was that the Stephanie Giorgi reaction to it?
I'm just saying, Peter, spot on, baby, spot on.
Oh my God. Okay, while we're talking about relationships,
Yeah.
let's chat about Callie and Aaron. Oh, Allie. Can we do that? No.
Oh my God.
Karen.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Karen and Allie.
I actually don't know the official fandom.
Oh, I
if y'all
kind of
want
love
to.
Karen.
I love Karen so much.
Yeah.
So Karen and Allie. Oh, Gord. No, Aaron and
Gord.
Callie.
Yeah.
Gord. This is my weekly. This is changing lives with this LGBTQ representation rant. Like, I don't want to get into it again because just been seeing me before, but like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We've never had representation like this in such a fully formed three-dimensional character. It's not an angel. It's not a villain. It's not something to be feared. It's just another character. And he has fallen in love, and he gets a sex scene.
Oh my!
They are teenagers and they're horny.
Yeah.
And getting a sexual sex scene. Oh my gosh! Like, part of me wishes I could have seen like every girl's reaction watching that sex scene. Because I was dying. I like turned into a little girl. Like, I thought I was gonna lose it a little bit. Like, whew.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
His body is nice.
And I'm not kidding you, with the Joey Lawrence, and when he took his shirt off and still had like his shirt tied around his waist, I was like, whew.
Ooh, leave it right there.
Oh my God.
Okay, we know what Hannah
Sorry.
likes.
I know. Hannah,
Hilarious.
girl, calm down. We on the podcast right now. We live, girl. Relax.
And I also like how they didn't have to show everything, but they showed so much. Like, it was just, it was, to me, it was perfect. And we obviously see a continuation of them hooking up next week when they're actually naked in bed together in the preview. And I don't know, like, I thought it was done. It was like one of my, like, it was like a perfect love scene. Like, he stopped and he lit the candle and he turned the music on and she was like, okay.
She was about it. I was just, and I had mentioned while we were watching it, this is the first time where it's not rushed. You know, he's grown, has his own spot. And he set it up right.
There
Like,
was
to make her even
consent.
more.
Yeah.
Yes, seriously,
Yes.
there's consent to make it comfortable. Let me put some music on. Let me put a candle on. The ambiance is right.
Well, the red lighting, yes.
Check out my Insta story, Red Light Special. I dedicate that to this episode.
And they really got the awkward stuff out of the way last time. It was perfect. This storyline. So trans men are so much less visible than trans women in society. You know, you say transgender and you think about Laverne Cox, you think about Janet Mock, you think about Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
And I can name 10 more trans men, but they're not as visible. And so for young trans people to see a sex scene and one of the guys has such visible scars on his chest because he's trans, it's just like it made me tear up.
Right.
Because this doesn't happen.
And to
Right.
be so like masculine and sexy and all of like, it was good.
It was.
It was really, really good.
It's just the handling of the storyline is outrageous. Also, their waterfall, was that Escondido Falls?
I think it
In
might have
Malibu?
been.
I think it was.
I don't know. We've been in a drought, so there was not water there for a very long time. So I don't know.
Oh no, but we're out of it, and the water's been raging lately.
Oh, well, that's good.
I know because I went 3 months ago.
Oh.
Hi, for my birthday, it was my 21st.
Love it.
Oh my, that's what adulthood's like, people. When you turn a new age, you just go on a hike with friends.
True.
That's what LA adulthood looks like.
Yeah, and you don't just do parties, but that's a longer story. When Callie was saying, I don't know who I am, I loved Erin's response, and I wanted to like pull her aside and be like, baby, it's okay. And nobody does.
Right.
For real.
Nobody does. It's okay.
It is, and that's what's so beautiful about Aaron's character, because he really does know who he is. You know, like, he's just so secure, and I also envy that. Like, I see what Callie sees. Like, it's something that's very admirable and attractive. So, I don't know. I think I would get intimidated if I was around him all the time. So, like, how did you get there? Like, what
Right.
did you do?
But, and also for a character like that who appears so much to know who they are because they made so many, like, leaps and bounds, you know what I mean, to showcase that to people, and for him to be the one who's, like, still nobody knows, you know what I mean, because he's done he's, you know, changed his whole life from the beginning of it, you know what I mean, and still is like, that doesn't mean I know everything about myself. Like, I did what was right for me gender-wise, but that doesn't mean I know what I want to do tomorrow, or like, you know what I mean, like, how I want to make money or spend the rest of my life, you know, and I thought that was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, this is just groundbreaking LGBTQ representation, and specifically trans,
Right.
and I just can't get over that.
Actually, on that comment, there was someone on the comments, I don't know if it was YouTube or if it was Twitter, where they mentioned how they were annoyed how we kept making it a point to say, oh, look at this transgender character, oh, look at this and look at that. I just want to make a point that it's because it's more of some, like, a pride thing, and also because it's not normal. If we want to, I get upset when someone tries to get mad about it when it's like, this is still something new in the world.
Oh, this
It
kind of
may not be-
representation. Yes, exactly.
Right. You know, just because you want to acknowledge it doesn't mean that we're making it we're not singling it out, or we're not acting as if it's not okay. Just we can be proud of it.
I think that's a great point.
Right?
This doesn't happen. And when I say that, I mean it has never happened.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
this kind of representation, this kind of positive storytelling with a trans character, and so that is why we have to point it out. That's why we have to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Also, because of where we are in the country in terms of people not knowing a trans person in their life. You know, 89% of America doesn't know a trans person. And so they are introduced to trans people for the first time through shows like this.
Right.
And through other shows, if they showcase the trans person and make it about them, I'm thinking specifically of Laverne Cox and Doubt, that can get a backlash from people who are not as accepting because they don't want to watch a show with a trans character.
Right.
And so they turn it off. But for a show like this, where they're watching it and they're enjoying it, and then they introduce a trans character,
Yes.
and there's people keep watching it because they're already invested.
Yeah,
and there's magic
exactly.
in that.
Absolutely. And just to see that it is something that we're trying, that as a society or as a community, that we are trying to make normal. And yes, normal is not a common word anymore, because what is normal?
Right.
But it's honestly, it's a good transition, because for anyone, I feel like for anyone who's not used to it, for anyone who isn't around it, anyone who lives in the middle of the country where you're scared as to come out, like, let this be a transition for you. Let this be a way that we introduce it to the world in a light where it's not focused on some bullshit like Caitlyn Jenner, excuse me, not that her life is bullshit, but I know why she gets a negative thing, because it was blown out of proportion. There are so many other transgenders, there are so many other queer folk that just want to be blended in. And I think that's a perfect representation of just someone, a part of the world like everyone else.
Yeah.
So
And it's not a transition story.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just there.
Yeah, and then the last thing before we move on, because we'll talk about other things, is that there are so many complexities to the trans experience. There's not a single trans narrative, that one person does. It's always different for everybody, but a large part of being trans is it comes with a struggle.
Right.
Trans women, specifically trans women of color, are one of the most marginalized groups in the country. The murder rate is staggering. There have been 15 or 16 deaths already by women, and it's so upsetting. People are at larger risk of losing unemployment, of losing their homes, and there are risks, an elevated risk that comes with it. And that is not because trans people are more, let's say, susceptible to suicide because of like brain matter. They're more susceptible to it because of society.
Exactly, because people are scared. And
Right.
that's why it's like, look how, like, learn to see it in a way that it's not the focus, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
This
And
is
that is
someone
why-
like, that's just your neighbor.
Right, and that is why it's so important to celebrate the positive things.
Can we get a round of applause?
Okay, sure. But yeah. Let's talk about the other relationships. We're on this be Jude and Noah. They're on the rocks, like my cocktails. They are.
Always.
I think that this is a nice, interesting, like, good storyline.
I love it.
Choose between your best friend and your boyfriend, that like battle. I was like, yeah,
So relatable.
so
It
relatable.
is very.
Well, especially because Taylor introduced the two of them together, and Taylor's been through everything. So she's like, okay, first of all, calm down, Noah, because Jude is mine.
I kissed him first.
I kissed her first, right? I get where Taylor's coming from, and then I also get where Noah's coming from, which I think is beautiful, because I think Jude needs to know it's nice that this is the first time in his life he's in a position where people are fighting for him. You know, like no one's ever really given him care, so it's just funny to be caught in that predicament, to just be this like normal kid. I think it's really cute. So it's pretty special to me.
That's a nice. That's a
That
nice.
is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, that's a contrast. That's a great contrast. That compared to this drama now in his life, compared to like moving around through different foster homes and getting beaten by one of the fathers, like these are nice problems to have.
Yeah, really great problems.
Oh, I love thinking about that. I'm nervous about the guy who reached out, the gamer thing.
At first, I was like, "This is a scam. This is
Yeah.
a scam."
It
but-
still feels like a scam.
yeah, kind of.
I don't know if it feels like a scam. It just feels dirty to me. Something about it feels dirty.
Like, who says like "call me"? I feel like email.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's just. Maybe obviously they did it for TV because like it's TV, but I don't know. Like, and then who knew that they were gamers? I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so
Are you
I don't
kidding
know.
me? I say that hashtag all the time.
You do? Really?
Hashtag gamer. GAY-mer.
Oh my god.
I didn't know that. That's
Are you lying right now?
No,
Oh,
I
no.
honestly
not
like,
you.
Are you
him.
lying right now?
Oh, no. Look, check it out. Pull up your Instagram. You'll see gay men and they're showing their butts and like holding Pikachus.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a gay
Is it a
gamer.
thirsty thing?
No, it's a good gamer.
I think it kind of veers in thirst territory.
Okay.
Because
Pika,
it's
Pika.
kind of like, look, I'm playing video games and I'm cute and I'm geeky, but I'm not wearing a shirt.
Also, Pikachu's tail is just sitting right here.
Am I throwing shade at gamers?
No, it's
I
lovely.
don't think so.
Just gamers, remember, spend some time with the people around you.
But
That you don't know how many couples I know that has been an issue in their relationship.
Oh, dude, I dated one of them.
So
I sat on that couch so
many.
much just watching the screen.
I date one. Every time I disappear, I go up to the shower, I hear the game is on. I go upstairs to take a fall, I hear to take a call, I hear the game is on. And then I come down and I'm like, are you serious? He's like, oh, I'll put it away. I'll put it away. He doesn't watch this so I can talk shit about him.
That's hilarious.
He's playing a game, that's why.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you he is playing NBA 2K17. I bet that's what he's playing.
beautiful.
Michael B. Jordan is a character. So that's what drew me in. I was like, oh, hi, Michael B. Jordan. How are you?
As a-
true.
On NBA game?
Yeah, like he voices it, and his like likeness and his character's name is Justice Young.
Nice. Ugh,
Yeah.
Michael B.
Anyway,
Jordan.
that's how much I know about video games. But I'll have to look up the gamer hashtag.
If you put a gun to my head and said, name 5 video games, I would say Pac-Man, Pokemon, and then I would be out of things. And they'd be like, those are video games. That's what the guy had they once says.
I mean, not to hate people that like video games, because you know there's narrative. It tells a story. There are things to do. You know, but like I just can't get into it. I like Nintendo 64, the jam. Like that would have been a problem if like I was dating Noah.
Sonic
like,
was
Dude,
my shit.
real life, like I loved video games growing up like very, very hard. Like I would not leave in front of the TV. But it's when they became more advanced for me to understand. Like I can't figure out how to work the controller, so I don't want to play.
And that's how I feel like Noah feels. Like he's like, this is so foreign to me. I'm not interested.
Right.
And it's kind of like he tried to sort of be interested for Jude, and that's why he decided to make that video for him. And he kind of like made the effort, because we can't forget that moment that they had together. But I think it was just like it was the last straw. Like he was like, I am done. I feel second fiddle, which I definitely think he was.
Of course.
Well-
I'm telling you, this is literally what happens in like.
Yeah,
I can
and-
think 3 different couples in my head.
Also,
right now.
he quit smoking the weed, so he would quit playing the video games. So not only is he mad because he stopped smoking the weed, the weed. I know, I'm making it sound like a complete noob over here. I get that.
Yeah.
But
I take pot.
I will take the pot. Only for him to keep playing the video game. So now, not only is he mad that he gave up weed,
He's anxious because
yeah,
he's not
because he's not smoking weed.
Like, no wonder why he's such in a sour mood, because that's high. Like, hello.
Poor Noah over there. He's like, you took away my one vice.
We've
Only
got to
to
the
keep
bottom of
doing
it.
Yeah.
He has detoxed completely.
Oh my God, you're right.
His mom is shook.
Actually, let's.
is
You know
over
what?
it.
We can move forward. We understand now
We
what the
solved the
situation and we
issue.
solved the issue.
Oh my God, that's why we do this show.
Yeah.
We did it.
why I do it.
We're solving the relationship problems too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude.
I really want you to say that next episode. Please start smoking again.
Yes, seriously.
So Taylor and I are gonna play today, but, and then pull out the bag of like gummy worms. I got you covered. Toss it to him. Let's go.
Oh my God, I just feel like I'm the Noah in the relationship because I don't have that gene that enjoys it. So I get it where he's like, what is this?
Well, a lot of people get jealous of those who game because they just want the quality time or the physical
Yeah.
time. So
yeah.
Yeah. And then I think we should talk about like the important things, specifically Noah's floral bomber jacket.
Yeah.
super cute.
Also, he has amazing hair.
He
Yeah.
really, really does. But I'll tell you what, because from the back, I loved that bomber jacket. I was like, oh my God, I love the colors. I love the detail, da-da-da. And then it turned around and it had like, you know, the Hawaiian whatever, palm tree, whatever was
Was it
going
palm
on.
tree?
I think it was. And I was like,
I'll find it.
And I was like, no, I don't like it anymore. But I loved the back of that thing. It looked really cool.
So you like the back. Okay, I'm with Steph. Do you like the front or the back?
I can't remember anymore.
Wow, okay. I just think that Noah's hair is just like exceptional. It's a scene stealer.
Right.
If, you know, they break
It's
up,
very
maybe
McDreamy.
they can like show each other how to do their hair. But, God damn.
Moving
I
on.
just have bushy Jewish hair, so I have to say these things.
That's beautiful.
Actually, if you look back in some old photos of Jeff and I from when we first started, Jeff's hair is so long.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
gonna have to look
I'll
at that.
post. I'll post a throwback on Thursday.
She had
Right.
hair once. That'll be my gravestone.
She had hair.
She also had hair once.
Okay. So the grandparents also visited. Hi.
Hi, Lorraine Toussaint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lorraine. Oh, I love that actress.
Me too. She came into my restaurant once and I was like, I did, and I was like, oh, girl, don't touch her hand. I was like, but I love you. I'm like, can I get you another lemonade?
I just love the initial family dinner with everybody there. They just have been so awkward lately in the best way possible.
Yeah.
We talked about Tess as the crush / first girlfriend.
Yeah, that was really
And then how do we feel about Mariana saying, hey, is engaged?
typical
I love
Mariana.
that.
Typical, yeah.
And I love that they didn't talk about it post that.
Right.
It was just like the funny little end of the scene. Loved.
We don't actually have an answer to that.
No.
Yeah, it was like,
Well, it's because it's
Jesus is
it's
sleeping,
understood.
or he's not in this episode at all.
Yeah.
He's not in this episode at all.
Foster's has a budget problem. They can't afford all their actors.
I
have
also
a lot.
noticed too, there was like a funny moment, because we always talk about how they like cut corners, but when he came in the back door instead of the front door, the neighbor, it was like just because they didn't want to shoot at the front door.
For real.
You know what I mean?
Well, they're already in the back of the house. I don't know.
It's true. That's so true.
Yes, but I just like the grandparents, and the Alzheimer's dementia storyline. One of those.
Yeah, we don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
I mean, I don't actually even remember the difference in between them. My grandmother had it, and it's like they're just like it's so complex and so similar.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
incurable.
Yeah.
It is.
Either way.
Isn't dementia's more like momentary, correct? Like it's more in the moment, kind of like forgetting where
I
you
thought-
are at the moment.
No, I
and-
thought that dementia was just more, for a lack of better words, crazy, meaning like more just like like freaking out and stuff like that. Where Alzheimer's is just that you're
Lose
not going
memory.
crazy. You're just, if you go crazy, it's because you think you're in a different time.
Right. Like
So
you
you're
forget.
scared. You forget and be scared.
I could be wrong, but I thought that the difference was that one of them causes you to lose memories,
Right,
and
and
the
then-
other one causes you to forget how to do functions like writing or like swallowing
Dementia
food.
is a group of symptoms that affect mental cognitive tasks such as memory and reasoning. Dementia is an umbrella term that Alzheimer's disease can fall under. It can occur due to a variety of conditions, the most common of which is Alzheimer's disease. People can have more than one type of dementia.
Enlightened, thank you.
So for people listening, Jillian just recited that from memory.
Yes.
She did not read it.
I'm amazing, but you knew that.
Oh, thank you for that. Interesting. Clearly, we're all trained medical scientists
Yeah.
and doctors, but
That's what I do during the day.
I
It was all very sad though. It was very, very sad.
And like the car thing and the whole
yeah.
like how awkward is that conversation that you have to have with your mother? That's like, hey, so the house was a gift.
right.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. We don't have any money. We have 1 million kids.
But I thought that Steph's response was like completely genius and
Yeah.
realistic, which was, I can tell you it was a gift because we would not have bought this house
Right,
right.
without it.
Right.
I think that this is such a realistic problem to be having, that we can't afford our house, and it's been ongoing in small ways, not a big storyline, and I think that's really kind of wonderful to see.
Right.
I gotta tell you, it's definitely a theme that's happening right now.
Oh, really?
We're in like a housing bubble where houses are so expensive that people can't afford them, and
Oh, you're saying in real life, not
yeah,
TV.
in real life,
Oh,
like
100%.
this is a very dangerous thing that's happening right now. Like if you go on any real estate website, there are so many foreclosures, especially in Los Angeles, because people can't afford to pay their mortgages. So it's good that they're looking out for themselves, because they do have a whole family to worry about.
Yeah, it also takes care of a problem that like 90% of TV shows have, which is, I'm a massive fan of Girls, and you stare at Lena Dunham's apartment and you say, how does she afford that?
For real.
And so for us to say, how do they afford the house when they have 19 children, they're like redoing the basement apartment, the garage, and they have a police officer salary, or I guess a detective, and a vice principal.
Yeah.
That, with that many kids, it's gonna be tight.
For real. But I really also liked the change in their response to giving them the money back from when they were trying to figure out if it was a loan or, gifted to them or whatnot. And then the minute that,
Everyone together saw what it was.
Exactly. And then they could have that open conversation, and then they're like, no, please let us give you the money. Even though we can't afford it, and before it didn't make sense, but if it's something like this, like, we want to help in any way that we possibly can.
Right.
Her Lena's mom's reaction broke my heart, because there are so many times in life where we are afraid to go to the doctor. We are afraid to admit that something is happening. We're afraid to admit that change is happening. And it's just like, I got like a tear in my eye, because it's just, that's your partner. Like, who wants to admit that there's that they're not going to be around for them. Like she's like, I'm not ready to lose him. And it's totally true because if his mind is going, it's
Then
even
she
more
has to get
heartbreaking
ready.
because he will be there, but he won't be there.
Oh.
And it's, I mean, they're definitely going to face some challenges down the road. Obviously, if we do get a sixth season of this show, I feel like it is something that they're eventually going to have to address. So we'll see.
Oh, that's gonna be so sad. I'm so happy at least that he is. I don't know if he's just being smart because he's realizing that he's a little off to have brought up these moments that he's not gonna be able to bring up with Lena later. Which I have to say, that totally made Jillian cry.
It did.
Normally she says she tears up, but this one,
Wouldn't
she
cry.
was. I was like, I had to pay attention to her and not the show because I'm like,
Yeah.
Jillian, don't cry.
She grabbed my hand.
I did. It was so beautiful.
That is just like, that moment was so real. And the writing was so important because of Lena saying like, I know how hard that was for you to sit there with me for 10 minutes and watch cartoons. Because as
and
people,
the I still love you part.
yeah, and as people, yes, and the still love you part. It was just like, oh God, this show, I swear to God, it just like makes you feel things
Of course.
that you don't realize that you like need to get that emotion out. And that's probably why I cried, because I was just like, that is such a simple thing that he's now realizing the error of his ways. That he should have never said that. And it's totally true.
And it's such a brilliant thing to call out that wording of how he said that.
Because I would have never thought about it, but you know, to someone, if it was said to you, you still.
Exactly.
Right, but I
And
didn't
it's
think of that.
everybody's initial response on something when somebody does something bad. You know what I mean? Like bad or changes or whatnot.
Oh, honey, I'll still love
Exactly.
you.
Like, I'm not judging you. I still love you. But that is actually an awful thing to say. It's like accepting or acknowledging that you think what they did is
It's
wrong.
almost tolerating it.
Exactly. Versus it's the complete wrong way, but it's what everybody says, and I've actually never heard somebody call it out and be like, that's not appropriate, and that's actually completely negating what I think you meant to say.
Right.
That's an
I
amazing
agree.
point. Yeah, I agree. I was kind of shocked by that scene. And it's kind of like, I mean, clearly there are queer writers writing this show and working on it, but it's such an example of why do you need people telling the stories that are on screen, like writing them, because that's such a complexity. It's so nuanced that I don't know that a straight writer would have gotten to that place.
Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I think that I say this a lot, but they treat the characters in the audience like they're smart. So for the dad to be losing his memory, there wasn't a scene where you're like, look, Mom, look, he did this. Let me spell it out for you. It's like they all kind of realized it, and they didn't need to like treat anybody like they were dumb.
Right.
His life.
Because in real life, you have to be respectful about it because you can't just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone may not be ready to hear it.
I'm thinking more of like compared to other TV shows though.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there's a character who's like, oh, I can't see it. I don't want to believe this. And you're like, no, thank you for treating these characters like they're smart.
Right.
There's real conversations. And I think a great example of that is that Steph went over and talked to Tess
Yeah.
and just said like
Address
the
the
truth.
issue right away.
Right.
Yeah. And I find it so compelling, the characteristic that Tess has, which is that she says things that are kind of sometimes hurtful.
Right, but she also said it in a way that she didn't mean it. She protected
course.
herself in that moment. I don't know. I just feel bad for everyone who's been in the predicament where you find yourself, yes, marrying someone that maybe you shouldn't have married. And it was just sad
I think
because
she
it was,
feels that.
and she
I think she
feels
does
that.
too.
She's like, well, why'd you marry Mike, or should I have not? And then also, I think what's so sad is because it's not so accepted. It makes everyone question how they felt when you can't. Some people can't accept that maybe I did like her, but now I love him. And people are like, wait, but that doesn't make sense. You're not bi. You have to choose one or the other. When it's like, no, maybe that's not always the case anymore. Like, that's just not how we are. That's not how we live as people anymore. So I think it's funny that she said that because it was hurtful, but she just did it to protect herself.
You're right. I was actually talking about another line though, which was, it's not like I had feelings for you.
Right. Like
But that's what, oh yeah, that's what I
I
meant.
the mic one. Oh, gotcha.
No. When she said it's not like I had feelings for you, that she was protecting herself to say that, because
because she's living in fear.
she's living in fear and
With
she
herself.
can't think that maybe she had feelings for this woman if she's now married to her husband. When again, that's okay. That could happen.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
I mean, it was interesting to me that when Steph said, "Do you remember?" and she was like, "I remember."
Completely.
Like it was a
moment for her.
it was
as
a
well.
moment
Yeah.
in her life. So I don't know, for her to say that, I mean, obviously like there's been some friction between her and her husband on screen, and just sort of like him not being present, and then again when they were supposed to meet and he wasn't there, not being present, and it obviously annoys her. So either this friendship, this openness with Stef is going to be really good, or it's going to be really bad.
I agree.
But not for Stef, for Tess and her family.
Yeah. I think that'll be good.
I think it will be good in the long run because I think or like to think that they are about to approach the idea of somebody catching feelings for the same sex and being able to be comfortable with that without having to say that they are one thing or be one thing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Tess is refusing to admit that she may have caught feelings for her and vocally saying, oh, well, I didn't feel that way about you, because she's also afraid of the idea of...
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And I think that that's kind of a storyline that they're going to approach, is somebody having... You know what I'm... Does that make sense at all?
Okay, I know what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. Because I think that it's really okay for this woman, Tess, to not have had romantic feelings for Stef, and it to be just the truth.
No, exactly. But that's exactly what I mean. But in making sure that Stef knows that, it's acting on some fear of Stef thinking that she did. Do you know what I mean? And she's afraid of somebody thinking. Does that make sense?
It does.
Am I like using my words right?
I think it's because, one, she didn't have to say that.
Right.
She didn't have to say it, but I think also because maybe they're hinting if that was happening, if she was cuddling with Stef and everything else, she may have been flirting with the idea of, you know? So I think it's just taken away from that. Like, she's just dismissing it right away. When she could have just been like, no, I get it. You know, it's not, but I cared about you as a friend. She just, I don't know, it was just weird. I think.
Yeah, I just think that the definition of cuddling is different for everybody.
Oh,
so
totally.
their legs could have been like strewed on each other from the other side of the couch. And to Stef, that's cuddling. To her, their legs were just like on top of each other.
Right. Well, no, because I can cuddle the F out of my female friends too, and it's not going to mean anything, but I just feel as if there's too much tension there.
Yeah.
If I'm just reading off of body
Well, they have
language.
a history.
Right.
And a part of that history was that they hurt each other. I don't know. I really enjoy Lena's response to the whole thing, which is go, talk to her, be honest with how you felt, because she trusts her wife. And that is what someone who trusts their spouse does.
Right.
They don't say, I don't know, I don't want you to talk to her.
Well, it's the same thing that Dean said to, I thought it was the same thing where when Dean wasn't afraid to be like, Steph, talk to Tess. I think it really did bother her.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
Yeah.
But that's what I meant. If it bothered Tess, I get that she just said that and like walked away. I just felt as if it's like, it's not like I didn't have feelings for you that way, but I did care about you a lot.
Yeah.
Because then she said that it bothered her also. I just felt she was just very dismissive of the whole conversation when she said that.
Yeah. I think that's right.
She was honest, but I'm just saying maybe wording it better would have been.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that I think it's like a.
But that's always the case now.
She's like a lack of sensitivity around other people's feelings, and that's what I find compelling in that character as a characteristic to watch on screen.
Yeah. It's definitely very interesting.
Yeah. So and then Steph did come around saying that we're going to host an engagement party at the house.
She did.
That sounds like something we could have for the finale.
Well, I think prom is going to be the finale.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought didn't she's just hint that we might be getting a wedding?
I thought
Maybe
Or was
the
that
engagement.
the entire season? Are we in part A? We in part B?
We're in part
We're in
A.
part A.
We're in part A, but
Okay,
they
so the
haven't
entire
started to film
season.
part B yet, so I have no idea.
Why did I
It's
think
an
she said
engagement or
it?
something.
But I think the last episode is titled Prom.
Oh,
Or next week's episode, I forget.
That would be a good
One of
reason
them
to
is,
think it'd be
though.
prom.
Yeah.
Next week's episode, we'll talk about the predictions in a bit, but I didn't see anything prom related there.
Yeah. So I think it must be the finale.
Okay. Also, though, the engagement party doesn't have to be a massive event that we see always, you know?
Well, people are just doing dinner nowadays, you know? Why does it have to be fancy? Just
It's a backyard
just another
barbecue.
reason to give people gifts. I don't know, whatever.
There's that gazebo out there still, maybe.
Send an email. We're engaged. The wedding is
Right.
soon.
I'm excited that Stephanie said it's the least that she can do because
She
I was
put him
like-
through pain.
Yeah, she was like, I don't, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
Why not?
What made her come around to that? Did I miss that?
Having the conversation with Tess when
With
she
Tess?
said,
Yeah.
"Why'd you marry Mike then? If that's how you felt in high school?"
Oh, okay.
Yes. Should we talk about Gabe and Courtney, or are we good?
Well, I just want to say I know I talked the most ish about Courtney.
Wow.
But this is the first time I really appreciated her because I was like, "Girl, just leave." And honestly, it was comforting for me to just see her pack her stuff up. For her to come to the realization that they're just allowed to be jealous, that it doesn't mean that they have to be together, and that it is time for her to focus on herself and her child.
But here's the question.
Is she gonna
Was
do
the
it?
kiss just a kiss? Or was it something more?
With Gabe?
Yeah.
Stop. But, okay, if it's something more now, at least don't stay at the house.
And she's not, so that's good. But I'm just curious where the character's going.
I don't think so. Gabe is too
Is
vulnerable
she-
to not get attached that quickly to someone that pretty.
In the words of Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland, it's gotta be something more. Are you kidding me? There's spark, there's chemistry. He is smitten with her. Also, I just cannot not believe that there wasn't anything else.
Oh, Lord. I was just really happy for her to go. It didn't even make me like her more. I was like, go, girl, get gone, please.
I did not also like her more because these are words, they're not actions,
True.
and her packing up and leaving early is the first action that
Action.
we've seen compared to 90% of the actions that don't correlate.
Jeff,
Right.
you're right.
Thank
But that's my
you.
point. So I was happy for her to say I should still go. Good. At least she's, you just have to, for some people, it's like you just have to see a little bit of their progression. And don't dismiss them, because when you continue to express to someone that you don't have expectations for them, then they no longer have expectations for themselves. You don't give that person room to actually change or to move.
I did, okay, like one thing that she said, we're not talking about an action, when she said that you are bound to become jealous of the person that your ex dates.
That's what I'm saying.
And could it just be that? Just that. And you know what? I agree with her.
I agree completely.
I agree. And I can't believe that I got Jeff to agree with Courtney, but I did.
I wrote that down because I was so shocked by it.
But that was like such like a, I don't know, maybe like one of the first adult thoughts that she's had. Like it was just like,
True.
could this be like, of course, when I saw you and Grace together, I became jealous, and that's probably all that it is. And I love how they took a beat when she was like, not saying like we should get back together, right? And I was like, don't.
No, but that's my point though. I was happy that she said that to not make him confused, because she saw the anger out of him, but it was reminding both people that if obviously there's a little bit of tension, but let's not get carried away.
Yeah, like
They
it's such
lived together. It was a serious relationship.
Exactly.
And it's such a weird thing, especially because, like, it's not just a random person. Like, it's Gabe, and he's living in their backyard, and it just, like, adds another level
And
to
it's
things.
brother
And
and
it's,
sister's daddy.
yeah, and, like, it's easy. Like, Brandon, I mean, it was, like, I miss emo Brandon so much because we haven't seen him in a while, when he's, like, kicking crap around the yard. I'm like, okay, I love this.
How funny to see Brandon and Gabe like arguing over a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, really, really funny.
Yeah.
I loved that.
It's just like the dynamics that they're able to create in this show are
Yeah.
realistic and devastating.
Yes.
I just love how Gabe acts about everything. He's just so I feel as if when you sometimes nothing is just enough. Like, he doesn't have to do a lot, but express it so perfectly. He's like, it's a kid. Like, every single time he's dealing with some stuff on the show, it always has to do with something that's just not even in his element. It's just with Jesus and this young group of people. But he's just like, oh, I can't. What are you supposed to do about it? Like, this kid got jealous. I get it.
Here's one thing that we didn't talk about, which I think we should bring up. Grace's conversation with her mom on the phone.
Right.
Wait.
What did she say right before he got there?
Is that going to cause issue? He basically said, like, oh, my mom, she's just overprotective. Because she's talked about her overprotective parents before and how she was homeschooled and all this thing. But she was, like, arguing, and they made it a point to let Brandon listen to the argument. So it's going to lead somewhere, because they love to drop breadcrumbs for us. But where is it going to lead? Because obviously it meant something.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
have an answer at all, even a bad one.
Yeah, I got
I
nothing.
could only assume that maybe it was because she might have said that she has a boyfriend, but she has her own apartment by herself. And the parents, if the parents are paying for the apartment, they're going to say, well, I'm not paying for an apartment for you to just entertain yourself and stuff like that. It's for you to be going to school and taking care of yourself.
And Meg is a great example of unrealistic apartments that people can't afford.
Yeah,
I
that
guess
is
if her parents
beautiful.
are paying for it.
That's the point. She could have mentioned it. She could have name dropped Brandon or something, or said that she had a boyfriend that she's seen.
I just feel like we'll find out.
Does she have any siblings?
No, and even more reason to
Have
be
they
protective
mentioned
over their
it?
only child.
Where are you going with that?
Well, I don't know, because also, like, considering her career path or volunteer or whatnot, if she maybe has a sibling of a traumatic experience or disability or something, and that's why she was homeschooled to help herself. I'm like really reaching right now, P.S. But I'm that's why I was just curious. Does she have a sibling? I'm trying.
I was
I'm
reaching too,
going
but I
to
also
stay
think
here
I'm
while
right.
you reach.
And on that note, let's go to some predictions.
Yes.
Keyword Dick. What? Who said that?
Gamer.
So, in the predictions for next week, we saw a couple things. We saw Aaron and Callie together again, some in the bedroom.
We did.
We saw Jesus. Oh my God, Jesus. We saw Jesus and Emma fighting. We saw more Jesus-related drama that causing stress for Stef and Lena.
Okay.
And we saw the big rally for immigration stuff. And Callie was very close to some police officers
Was she? Oh, but because the rally was happening.
because of the rally.
Oh, yeah.
I just want something's about to go down because this mother effer spit.
Yeah.
For real. And I'm stoked that AJ's there. I like that AJ, like, you know.
AJ will be there to defend. We'll see something go down like that.
But I really like
I'm
seeing them
super
work
nervous.
together.
I have no predictions this week except that I'm scared for Callie to mess up because she's been on such a good track, and I feel like it's just not. I don't want this. Obviously, there is going to be something that happens, though, because we're one episode away from the finale episode, and there has to be some sort of, like, cliffhanger or whatnot. I know.
What if
Oh, God.
Jesus goes to the rally, it gets crazy, and he gets like an elbow in the head?
But, like, can we, like,
He better not go.
Jesus
Like, what if he
needs a
goes to
break,
defend
yo.
Callie?
No.
He's like, don't speak. Same thing. Or like, don't. That's my
Mariana.
sister. No, he
You
would
know what if
defend Callie
Mariana
too.
goes because like the Derby girls, and then Jesus is like, "Well, I'm coming, babies."
Well, I'm sure he's gonna come, but I'm saying that if Jesus witnessed someone like spitting and trying to come at Callie,
Yeah.
he's gonna do something.
That's true.
I doubt that he'll be there. I just
All
want
I'm
to
gonna
see.
say is, when you grow up in gay in the South, like spitting is like an easy day.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is that that's some bullshit that you just said. That sucks. Like that's hurtful.
Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to my podcast LGBTQ&A
Yeah.
reviews with.
That is crazy to me.
Thank
That
you.
almost makes me want to cry because
Does
I'm
anybody have anything else before Steph cries?
right.
Let's lock this down.
Yes.
Okay, let's say goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Was that an echo? Oh my God, I think I heard it. Okay, we can connect with me on Twitter at JeffMasters1. Until next time, Hannah?
Y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheHotShotDude.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jillian Leff.
You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi, on Instagram at @TheStephanieGiorgi, and don't spit at anybody because that is not okay.
Yeah, Seacrest out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.